Almost everyone you know has either talked about starting a business, is currently running one, or knows someone who is. Business is everywhere. It shapes every product you buy, every service you use, every job that exists, and every economy in the world. And yet, if you ask most people to explain exactly how a business actually makes money, not just sell things, but genuinely generate profit, sustain itself, and grow, most people will struggle to give you a clear answer because we interact with business every single day without ever understanding the mechanisms behind them. Today on Behind the Numbers, we're going to changing that. We are breaking down exactly what the business is, how it actually makes money, and what separates businesses that survive from businesses that fail. And most importantly, what most every aspiring entrepreneur needs to understand before they take the first step. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Numbers, the channel where we go beyond the headlines to uncover how money, business and work really work. I'm Mel and let's get into it. So let's start from the most fundamental question. What exactly is a business? A business is simply an organization or entity that provides goods and services to customers in exchange for money. That's just the core of it. Somebody has something people need or want. People pay for it. The business receives the payment. Simple. But what makes a business genuinely viable, that is, capable of surviving and growing long term, is not just that people pay for what it offers, it's that the money coming in is consistently more than the money going out. These differences between the business ends and what it costs to operate is called profit. And profit is the lifeblood of every business that has ever existed. Without profit, a business cannot pay its staffs, cannot invest in growth, cannot weather difficult periods, and ultimately cannot survive. Understanding profit is understanding the fundamental engine of all businesses' activities. So we're going to talk about revenue next. Revenue simply means the total amount of money a business brings in from sales minus cost, which means everything the business spends to operate equals profit. That equation is the heartbeat of every business on earth, regardless of size, industry, or location. Now let's talk about how business actually makes money, because this is where it gets really interesting. There are several fundamental business models, which means specific method a business uses to generate revenue. And understanding these models helps you see the business world with completely new eyes. The first and most traditional is the product model. That is when a business creates or sources a physical product, sells it at a price higher than it costs to make or buy, and then keeps the difference as profit. Every business trader, every manufacturer, every retailer operates on this model. The second is the service model. A business sells expertise, time, or skills rather than a physical product. We have doctors, lawyers, consultants, barbers, cleaners. They all sell services. Their cost is primarily their time and expertise, and their revenue is what clients pay for access to that time and expertise. The third is the subscription model. Customers paying a recurring fee, meaning a regular repeating payment, usually monthly or annually, to access a product or service continuously. Think streaming platforms, software tools, gym membership. The beauty of this subscription model is predictable recurring revenue, meaning the business knows roughly how much money is coming in every month, making plans and growth much easier. The fourth is the advertising model. That is, the business provides something valuable for free to attract a large audience and then charges other companies to advertise to that audience. We have social media platforms, free newspapers, and many websites operate this way. The fifth is the marketplace model. The business creates a platform that connects buyers and sellers and takes commission, which simply means a percentage of each transaction for helping in that connection. The platform itself doesn't actually own the product being sold. It's simple, makes the transaction possible and profits from each one. Now, here is something that most people who want to start a business never properly think about: the differences between revenue and profits, and why so many businesses that appear successful are actually struggling. Revenue is vanity, meaning it looks impressive but doesn't tell the real story. And we can say profit is like sanity, meaning it tells you whether the business is actually working. So, a business can make and earn millions in revenue and still be losing money if its costs are higher than its income. This is one of the most common and devastating mistakes new businesses owner make. Focusing entirely on growing sales while ignoring whether their sales are actually profitable. Every product sold or service delivered has a cost attached to it. It could be cost of materials, cost of labor, cost of delivery, cost of marketing, cost of premises, cost of equipment. These costs must always be carefully tracked and managed, because if they creep above the revenue, the business is not making money, it is losing it. Successful business owners obsess over their margins, which simply means the percentage of each sales that remains as profit after all costs are deducted. A business with high revenue but thin margin, meaning every little profit left after costs, is far more fragile than a business with lower revenue but healthy margin. So, what separates businesses that survive and thrive from the overwhelming majority that falls and fails within their first few years? The answer comes down to several criteria factors. The first is solving a real problem. The most successful businesses in the world exist because they identify something people genuinely needed or wanted and provided a solution better than anyone else. Not because the founder thought it was a good idea, not because it seemed trendy, but because there was a genuine gap in the market, meaning an unmet need that customers were willing to pay to have been addressed. The second factor is understanding your customers deeply, that is, knowing exactly what your target customer is, what they need, what they are willing to pay, and what will make them choose you over every alternative available to them. Businesses that often fail do so because they built something for customers they never properly understood. The third factor is managing cash flow, which means ensuring that money is coming in regularly, enough to cover the money going out. A business can be profitable on paper, meaning the numbers look good, but still collapse because customers pay too slowly or costs arrive too quickly. Cash flow is the oxygen of a business. When it stops flowing, the business suffocates, regardless of how good its product or services are. The fourth factor is adaptability, meaning the ability to change, evolve, and respond to shifts in the market, in customers' need, and in the competitive environment. Every business that has lasted decades have gone through multiple important transformations. The one that refuses to adapt no longer exists. So what does all this mean for you, whether you are thinking about starting a business or simply trying to understand the business world better? It means that before starting any business, the most important question to ask are not about your product or services. They are about your business model. How exactly will this business make money? What will it cost to deliver what I'm selling? What will the customer actually pay? How much profit will remain after cost? How will I ensure money comes in consistently enough to keep the business alive? These are not just exciting questions. They are not the questions people talk about when they dream about entrepreneurship, but they are the questions that determines whether the business survives or becomes another failure strategy. The world is full of passionate people with brilliant ideas who built businesses that failed, not because their ideas were bad, but because they never properly answered these fundamental questions before they started. In our next episode, we are going one step further into the business world, and we'll be talking about what a startup is and why it is different from a regular business. Because startup operates on completely different rules, different economies, and different timelines, rather than traditional businesses. And understanding that differences explains some of the most fascinating success stories and failures in modern business history. If today's video helped you see business differently, please like, subscribe and share it with somebody who is thinking about starting their own business. Please, and always remember, the numbers don't lie, but they do hide. I will see you in the next one.